Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Brain.
And I'm Anna, your co-host. We're so happy you're here with us today. If you're new to the podcast, this is the place where we make English learning simple, practical, and fun.
Exactly. And today's episode is a really exciting one because we're talking about something everyone wants: how to speak fluent English in 2025, with easy tips you can start using right away.
That's right. Fluency is the dream for every English learner. But here's the good news. It's not just about talent or living abroad anymore. In 2025, with the right mindset, strategies, and tools, speaking fluently is more possible than ever before.
Absolutely. Whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone who loves learning languages, we're going to share practical tips that will help you speak naturally, confidently, and fluently.
So grab your coffee, relax, and let's dive into today's episode, How to Speak Fluent English in 2025. Easy tips that actually work.
So, Anna, before we jump into the tips, let's first talk about why fluency matters so much in 2025. I mean, the world has changed a lot in just a few years.
It really has. Think about it, more jobs are remote, more businesses are international, and people are connecting online across countries every single day. English has become the common bridge language.
Exactly. If you want to work with global companies or even freelance from home, fluency in English is like your passport. It's not just about communication, it's about opportunity.
Yes, and it's not only for jobs. Fluency gives you access to knowledge. The majority of online courses, research, even entertainment like podcasts or documentaries, they're in English first.
Right? And I'd say there's also a confidence factor. When you can speak fluently, you don't feel left out in conversations. You feel like you belong, whether it's in an international meeting, a study group, or just chatting with friends from another country.
That's such an important point. I often tell my students, fluency is freedom. It frees you from hesitation, from fear, and it lets you express who you really are.
Well said, fluency is freedom. And in 2025, with so much technology and access to resources, there's no better time to achieve it.
Exactly. So if you're listening right now and you've been dreaming about becoming fluent, this is your year, and we're going to show you how.
All right, let's get into our first tip. Speak daily, not perfectly. This is a big one, Anna. A lot of learners think they need to study for years before they can speak confidently.
Oh yes, I hear this all the time. I'll start speaking when my grammar is perfect, or I need more vocabulary before I can talk. But the truth is, waiting for perfection is the biggest mistake.
Exactly. Fluency is built like a muscle. If you don't use it every day, it never grows. Even just 5 to 10 minutes of speaking daily is way more powerful than studying silently for hours.
Right. And when we say speaking daily, it doesn't have to mean speaking with a native speaker every single day. You can talk to yourself, describe what you're doing, or even record short messages on your phone.
Yes. For example, if you're making breakfast, just say out loud, "I'm cutting the bread, I'm making coffee, I'm washing the dishes." Simple sentences, but they train your brain to think in English automatically.
I love that. And here's something important: don't worry about mistakes. Children make mistakes all the time when they're learning their first language, but they keep talking, and that's how they improve.
Exactly. Mistakes are not failures, they're steps toward fluency. If you wait until you're perfect, you'll never start. But if you speak every day, even imperfectly, you'll be surprised how quickly your fluency grows.
And the best part? Daily speaking builds confidence. You'll stop feeling shy because your brain gets used to expressing ideas in English, even if it's not perfect.
So the key here is speak every single day, no matter what. Don't aim for perfect grammar, aim for practice. Consistency beats perfection every time.
Yes, think of it like watering a plant a little bit every day keeps it alive and growing. That's how fluency works too.
Okay, tip number 2 is a game changer. Think in English. Stop translating. Anna, I think this is where many learners get stuck, don't you?
Absolutely. I've seen so many learners pause in the middle of a sentence because their brain is busy translating from their native language into English. That slows everything down and makes speaking stressful.
Exactly. Imagine trying to translate every single thought. It's like running a marathon with heavy weights on your back. You'll never sound fluent that way.
So the solution is to train your brain to think directly in English. And the good news is, it's not as hard as it sounds. You can start small, with simple daily thoughts.
Right. For example, if you're walking outside, instead of thinking in your language and then translating, just think, the sun is bright, the weather is nice, I'm walking to the store. Keep it simple, but keep it in English.
Yes. Another easy exercise is to describe things around you in English, even in your head. For example, that's a red car. The girl is smiling. My coffee is hot. Short sentences, direct English.
And here's a fun trick when you don't know a word. Don't stop to translate. Use another word or phrase in English. For example, if you don't know umbrella, you could say, the thing you use when it rains. That way, you keep thinking in English.
I love that. It keeps your fluency flowing instead of stopping your brain with translation. Over time, this habit becomes automatic, and suddenly you realize, wow, I'm not translating anymore, I'm just speaking.
Exactly. Fluency isn't about knowing every single word. It's about keeping your thoughts moving in English. And once your brain makes that shift, speaking becomes natural and fast.
So the big takeaway here is, train your brain daily. Even your small, everyday thoughts can be in English. The more you do it, the less you'll translate and the faster your fluency will grow.
Now let's talk about something very new and very exciting using AI and technology for speaking practice. Honestly, Anna, 2025 is probably the best time in history to learn English.
I agree. Years ago, if you wanted to practice speaking, you had to find a teacher, a language partner, or live abroad. But today, with AI apps, chatbots, and voice tools, you can practice anytime, anywhere.
Exactly. For example, there are apps now where you can have full conversations with AI, you talk, it listens, and it responds just like a real person. And the best part? No judgment, no embarrassment.
Yes! I always tell my students that AI is like a patient friend who never gets tired of listening. You can practice at midnight, make as many mistakes as you want, and still get instant feedback.
And it's not just AI chat. There are speech recognition tools that help you check your pronunciation. You say a sentence, and the app tells you if you sound natural or not. It's like having a coach in your pocket.
That's powerful. And let's not forget listening technology. With podcasts, YouTube videos, and even smart subtitles, learners can surround themselves with English every day. That constant exposure trains the ear and the tongue.
Exactly. And here's the thing. Technology doesn't replace real human conversation, but it prepares you for it. By practicing daily with AI, you'll feel more confident when you talk to real people.
That's such an important point. Technology is your training ground. You use it to build your fluency. So when the opportunity comes to speak with real people at work, in school, or while traveling, you're ready.
So in 2025, there's really no excuse. With AI and technology, you have 24/7 access to practice. All you need to do is use it consistently.
Exactly. Use the tools, use your voice, and watch your fluency grow faster than ever before.
All right, Tip number 4 is master phrases, not just words. Anna, I think this is one of the fastest ways to sound fluent.
Oh, absolutely. Many learners focus only on individual words like book happy, computer. But when you only learn words, you don't always know how to put them together in a natural way.
Exactly. But if you learn phrases, ready-made chunks of language, you can use them immediately in conversations. For example, instead of just learning the word busy, learn the phrase, I'm a bit busy right now.
Yes, that sounds natural, and you don't have to think too hard about grammar. Another example, instead of just knowing the word help, you can learn, could you give me a hand? That's how native speakers talk.
Right. And when you collect these phrases, you're basically building a toolbox. In real conversations, you just pull out the right phrase, and boom, you sound fluent.
And the good news is, you don't need thousands of phrases. Even 50 to 100 common phrases for daily life, like ordering food, greeting people, or giving opinions, can make you sound much more natural.
Exactly. And phrases also save time. If you know the phrase at the end of the day, you don't have to stop and think, how do I say this idea? The whole chunk comes out automatically.
So the key is, don't just memorize words in isolation. Collect phrases, practice them, and use them in real situations. That's how you get closer to fluency.
Well said. Words build vocabulary, but phrases build fluency. Okay, tip number 5 is one of my favorites. Record and listen to yourself. Now, Anna, a lot of learners feel shy about this one, don't they?
Oh yes, many students tell me, I hate hearing my own voice. But honestly, this is one of the most powerful techniques for improving fluency.
Exactly. When you record yourself, you can hear things you don't notice while speaking, like pronunciation, speed, or where you pause too much. It's like holding up a mirror for your English.
That's such a good way to put it, a mirror for your English. And here's the thing, you don't need fancy equipment. Just your phone's voice recorder is enough.
Right. You can record yourself reading a short paragraph, telling a story about your day, or even practicing a job interview. Then, listen back and ask yourself, do I sound natural? Did I hesitate too much? Which words were hard for me?
And here's the magic part. When you listen again and again, your brain starts to fix mistakes automatically. You become more aware of your weak points, and little by little, your speaking improves.
I remember when I first tried this, I felt uncomfortable at first. But after a week, I started noticing my progress. It gave me confidence because I could actually hear myself getting better.
Yes, and that confidence is huge. Once you're comfortable hearing your own voice in English, you'll feel less nervous speaking in front of others.
So the tip is simple. Record, listen, repeat. Don't run away from your voice. Use it as your teacher.
Exactly. Your voice is your best practice tool.
All right, now let's talk about something really important. The common mistakes learners are still making in 2025. Because no matter how much technology we have, some habits still hold people back.
So true. I'd say the first big mistake is relying only on apps without actually speaking. Yes, apps are great, but if you never open your mouth, you'll never build fluency.
Exactly. It's like learning to swim by only watching videos. At some point, you need to jump into the water.
I love that example. The second mistake I often see is fear of making mistakes. Learners stay quiet because they don't want to sound wrong, but silence doesn't build fluency, practice does.
Absolutely. And here's another one. Focusing too much on grammar rules instead of communication. Grammar is useful, but if you spend hours memorizing rules without speaking, you'll freeze in real conversations.
Yes. Sometimes learners know all the tenses perfectly, but when it's time to order coffee, they they panic. Fluency comes from practice, not perfection.
And in 2025, another mistake I notice is information overload. Learners jump from one resource to another, YouTube, apps, books, but they don't stick with one method long enough to see progress.
That's such a good point. Consistency beats variety. It's better to use a few tools regularly than to try everything and feel overwhelmed.
So, to summarize, the big mistakes are relying only on apps, fearing mistakes, over-focusing on grammar, and chasing too many resources. Avoid these, and your path to fluency will be much smoother.
Exactly. Learn smart, not just hard.
All right, Anna. I think it's time we get a little personal. We've shared tips, but maybe our listeners would like to know about our own fluency journeys.
Good idea. I'll start. For me, fluency didn't happen overnight. When I was learning English, I used to feel so shy. I was afraid people would laugh at my mistakes. But then I realized, if I stay quiet, I'll never improve. So I started small talking to myself in English every morning.
I love that. It's amazing how those small daily habits make a big difference. For me, my breakthrough came when I started recording myself. At first, I couldn't stand hearing my voice, but then I noticed small improvements week by week. That gave me the motivation to keep going.
That's such a good point. Motivation grows when you can see your progress. I also remember one turning point. The first time I held a full conversation with a native speaker. I made mistakes, but I realized they still understood me. That gave me confidence to keep speaking.
Yes, that's so important, realizing that communication is more important than perfection. For me, once I accepted that mistakes are part of the journey, I actually started enjoying speaking English.
Exactly. And I think our stories prove something simple. Fluency isn't about being perfect. It's about being brave enough to practice, even when it feels uncomfortable.
Well said. And that's what we want our listeners to remember. If we could do it, you can too.
All right, everyone, now it's time for a little challenge. You know, tips and advice are great, but fluency really happens when you take action.
Exactly. So what's the challenge, Anna?
Here it is. For the next 7 days, I want you to speak in English every single day for at least 5 minutes. You can talk to yourself, record a voice note, chat with a friend, or even speak to an AI.
I love that. Just 5 minutes a day, that's not much, but it's enough to start building your speaking habit.
Yes, and here's the key. Don't worry about mistakes. The goal is to get your brain used to thinking and speaking in English. Mistakes are welcome, they mean you're learning.
And at the end of the week, listen to your recordings or reflect on your conversations. You'll notice improvements maybe in pronunciation, confidence, or fluency.
Exactly. So take the challenge, be consistent, and see the difference it makes. Remember, fluency is built step by step, one small action at a time.
That's right. Are you ready to take the challenge? Because we believe you can do it. All right, everyone, before we wrap up, let's take a moment for a little motivation. I want to remind you that fluency is built step by step.
Absolutely. I know it can feel overwhelming sometimes thinking about all the words you don't know, the grammar rules, the perfect pronunciation. But here's the truth. Nobody became fluent overnight.
Exactly. Every fluent speaker started where you are now. They made mistakes, they practiced daily, and they kept going even when it felt hard. That's how fluency happens, one small step at a time.
And every little action counts. 5 minutes of speaking, one new phrase, one recording, it all adds up. Don't underestimate the power of small, consistent steps.
Yes. Think of it like climbing a staircase. Each step might seem small, but if you keep climbing, eventually you reach the top. That's your fluency.
So keep going, stay consistent, and celebrate every small victory. You're training your brain, building confidence, and moving closer to speaking English fluently.
Remember, progress is progress, no matter how small. Keep stepping forward, and soon you'll look back and realize how far you've come. All right, let's wrap things up with some final thoughts and key takeaways from today's episode.
First, remember that fluency in 2025 is all about action speaking daily, thinking in English, and using technology to practice.
Second, focus on phrases, not just individual words. Chunks of language help you sound natural and confident.
Third, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every mistake is a step forward on your journey to fluency.
And finally, consistency beats perfection. Small daily actions like recording yourself, practicing for 5 minutes, or speaking to an AI build your fluency faster than any long, perfect study session.
So take these tips, apply them, and remember, your fluency grows one step at a time.
Exactly. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and most importantly, enjoy the journey. And that's a wrap for today's episode on How to Speak Fluent English in 2025. Easy tips.
We hope you found it helpful and that you're ready to put these tips into action. Remember, fluency is built step by step, so start speaking today.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with anyone who wants to improve their English.
And leave a comment below. Tell us which tip you're going to try first. We love hearing your progress.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep practicing, stay consistent, and we'll see you in the next episode of the English Learning Podcast.